Hey guys, welcome to Brian's Man Cave. So today's another awesome games from A to Z, and today's letter is U. And this one was a tough one. There's a lot of letters that were pretty simple. In fact, there were some that I had so many games that I could choose that I almost thought I had to do like a two-parter for it. But this is not going to be the case for some of these later on letters like, X and V. It's going to be challenging. But anyways, yeah, I managed to find a bunch of games that are going to, stuff that kind of stuck out to me. A couple that I've actually played, and one that's fairly recent for me anyways. I've actually given it a shot. But, so yeah, the first game I want to talk about is, this was the Atari version of the game, and it's called Up and Down. Now, this is like a arcade classic, I believe. I didn't actually play it in the arcade, but, it's not unique to the Atari. And it's just the reason why I picked the Atari one is because I'm quite impressed by the way they were able to pull it off. Yeah, it's Atari 2600 graphics, and the game is not perfect, but it's still kind of impressive the way they were able to make this game look kind of like the way it should look, and even just be able to play the way it does. The game itself is fairly rare. I know it's not one of those games you just bump into for really cheap unless you get really lucky, because it's just not a really common title. Willie from Arcade USA did a nice. It was part of his ABCs of Atari actually, where he talked about this game, and he did a little bit of unboxing and gameplay. I don't believe it was his copy though. I think he had to get somebody like another collector to loan him, because it's not something that's easy and cheap to pick up. Anyways, I just thought I would just throw the game up here and give it a shot, and just to show it off, because there's not a lot of games for the U category, so let's do a little bit of gameplay footage too. Anyways, this is Up and Down. You can see. Okay, so there's this music that's in there that's can get a little bit annoying, but still kind of neat though to get like a full soundtrack like that. And the way you play this game is you're literally going on these cross tracks the way that it is, so you can, and you're trying to get those flags, and you can see like the angle it's at. It's kind of like an isometric view in a sense. I guess they're trying to be ambitious with the Atari and pull off more of a, rather than taking a safe approach and trying to make it more just going straight up or something like that. Kind of like the way they didn't do games like Zaxxon. Whoa, I'm just terrible. At where they just got rid of the isometric view and just made a straight on view. But I don't think I would have been able to pull off the game any other way. If they couldn't make it look like this, I just don't think it would be the game. But yeah, it's not an easy game to get used to, as you can see. I'm just trying to talk here and play at the same time, and I'm ramming into everything. The cars themselves, they sort of make out what they are, but I don't know. I don't know if the Atari could have really pulled much off beyond this point. I just keep ramming into everything. See if I can get an actual good run going on here. Alright. Oh, right into the water. It's actually a pretty fun game once you get used to the controls. And the way you jump, kind of on the same vein as Bump and Jump and, other games like car games where you get to do more than just drive the car. You get to do a few, crashing here and there, but jumping as well. And landing on other cars, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so this is Up and Down. It's not bad. I know it's kind of an expensive game, so if you just want to try it out, I'd suggest going with the emulation for a bit. Probably a game that only real collectors would really want to pick up. Of course, if you can get it cheap, that's, a different story. I would definitely, pick this up if I can get it for cheaper. But yeah, this is Up and Down for the Atari 2600. For the next game, this is on the Intellivision, and this is Utopia. And if you've been watching my channel a lot, you'll know I've played this game a few times already. I've talked about it a bunch of times. I'm really excited to see this. Well, we're told it's going to be on the Intellivision Amico. The brand new system is coming out soon, as of when I'm recording this. And so, a re-imaged version of this game would actually be pretty cool. But what I liked about this game, it's mostly I like the graphics. Like when I was a kid, I remember seeing the game. I remember seeing the box at my uncle's house. He had it, and I was just, I just wanted to play the game just by looking at the back of the box, because you got the two islands, you got the little icons to show that you're building something. And that was the other thing too, is I've always been like more of a creative type of person, and I like to construct, I like to build things. A lot of kids like to, you play Lego and all that stuff. So the idea of me building my own island and building up something, and that just was really appealing, and it was really different back then, because we didn't have games like SimCity yet. We didn't have those builder construction worlds or anything like that. You had Space Invaders and Pac-Man, and you didn't have those kind of games. So it was really impressive to see this type of thing happen. And a lot of people will say this is kind of like the father or the grandfather of SimCity. But yeah, let's get to playing this, because I just want to show off a little bit of what it does. I'll just do that. If I could remember my television's yelling at me. I think there we go. Yeah, so like I said, you got your two islands here, and you get to do a whole bunch of things you can build. I don't have my overlays with me, so I'm just going to have to guess what I'm building here. But yeah, so that's like some crops. You get to build crops. You get to build a fort, or that's a factory, I should say. And everything has its own reason for putting it there. So the factory will generate some money. The crops will generate a little bit of money. Then you got to build some housing, and each day passes, you get paid. So you might get paid for your crops, you might get paid for your factory. Eventually you'll need to build a fort, and there's a bunch of other things you could do. And down here, if you see my cursor down in the bottom, these are what they call the School of Fish. And so you can actually purchase a fishing boat and go out and go fishing, and that brings in some money. And so what just happened there is we just gone through our first day, and you can see over on the other side, the island, that's the Rebel. And they're actually incorporating this picture in some of the marketing for the Intellivision Amico. I've seen a few people wearing the shirt with the Rebel symbol on there. So that's really cool. And of course we got some clouds coming in. So it really tries to give you that real-time feel of, this is a full day in your island, and this is stuff going on. The weather is affecting it. And we got some pirates. Can't have an island without pirates, I guess. See if I can remember which one is the boats. There we go. Oh, that's the PT boat. So you could that's to like protect your fishing boat. There we go. So that's it. Yeah, I mean, so this is Utopia. This is one of my more favorite games on the Intellivision. I always loved playing this game. And it's better played by two players, obviously, because if you have, you have your other player who can build up their island as well, and you're kind of competing to see who's going to build the better island, who's going to make the most amount of money, who's going to get the most amount of population. So it is a two-player game to some degree. And, again, I'm kind of curious as to what the Amico might do. Are they going to have several islands? How is it going to work? So we'll just have to wait and see. Anyways, yeah, this is Utopia for the Intellivision. And on to the last U game. Now these are just the three that I've found. I'm sure you can dig and dig and dig, and you could probably find a whole bunch of U games. But this is one that stuck in my mind because I remember picking this up at a local exhibition we have. And, there was always a booth there that sold video games back in, going back, I don't know, several years ago. But, and back when Nintendo games were actually still sold on the shelf, that long ago. But I was always on the hunt for games that would just remind me of Zelda or just play kind of like Zelda. And I remember every time going into the booth and being like, do you have anything that plays sort of like Zelda? And he suggested Ultima, the guy that was there. He's like, if you like the RPG style of games, you might like this one. This has kind of got a similar vibe to it. And it does, and it doesn't. It kind of has that similar feel. This is more of like a Dragon Warrior style game, but I gave it a shot, and I actually did get pretty far. I remember getting pretty far in it. And as far as I know, this is Ultima Exodus. This is like the first one on the Nintendo that came out. There was 2 other games, and this is, I believe, the 3rd in the actual series of the Ultima games. And I remember buying the for the PC, I probably like Windows 95 or something, like going back to the PC days, the earlier PC days. I remember getting a box that had all the Ultima games on it from 1 to whatever, I can't remember, it was like 9 or 10 or something like that. I remember picking that up, and the original Ultima, the first one, was in DOS. It was like really old. The characters were just like literally looking like characters from your keyboard, and it was just kind of like, yeah, it was and it wasn't playable. And I remember trying out Ultima 3, and it was exactly this game. The graphics were a lot more rough. And then, there was a lot more Ultima games out there. Now, I'm not the biggest fan when it comes to the style RPG where you have to be like fighting all the different things. Was it turn-based fighting? I didn't mind Dragon Warrior because it was usually one thing you were fighting. But when it comes to these types of games, you're just by yourself and you're fighting like 5 or 6 things, and it's just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that do like that, and it's not like it's a bad thing. It just wasn't for me. I just found that got boring to me. So I'm gonna just give it a shot again, just to start her up. It's been a while since I've actually given this a shot, so let's just see here. Alright. And create. Yeah, so you gotta create your little, your army of men. Salmon. Create. Handmade, ready-made. Let's just go for ready-made. Sure. Cleric, thief, cleric. We'll call him A. And we'll call him B. And we'll call him DD. Oh, sure, DD. Alright. And AK. Obviously, I'm just throwing out crappy names here, just to show the game a little bit. So those are my little guys. You gotta go on your quest. Welcome, ye brave souls. Okay, so here we go. I like how it kind of tells you what direction you're going in. And there's also the sun and the moon kind of waning things going on in this game. You get to go into the towns and speak to some of the people. So it's kind of that, that top-down RPG. Actually, kind of another game that I learned about and I did a video on was The Lone Ranger. It kind of has the same feel too. So you get to talk to the people, who's going to talk to them. And each character can buy different things based on how much money they have, so there's a lot of management going on in this game. Drink another? No, I'm good. I'm good. I don't need to keep drinking. So yeah, I mean, it is kind of, got that Zelda feel to it, but it's definitely much more RPG style. Building up your characters, building up experience, your magic. And let's just go back out, I don't remember if I could just leave here? Yeah, they got the guards there. I believe you have to like run into these guys to get into a fight. Yeah, so this is the battle scene. Essentially, nothing special. And you can see they kind of do a little bit of a... But you kind of have to go through this until all of them are dead. And this could take quite a bit of time. I think this was my biggest thing about this game, was just the battle scenes kind of... Whoa, no one's there. No one's there. Guess I don't have any more weapons to go. But anyways, yeah, I was still impressed by this game. I kind of liked it. It was alright. But, yeah, so that's my selection of games for you. Like I said, this was kind of a tough one because I really had to dig through. I was trying to find something on the Commodore 64, but I couldn't really find anything that I played or had any experience with. It's just one of those letters. Anyways, hope you liked the video. Let me know what you think. Have you played any of these games? Which ones do you like? Have you played the sequels? I haven't actually given the sequels a try for the Ultima series, but I'm sure they're probably just like this. Anyways, hope you liked the video. Hope you subscribe. Talk to you later.